So as we started looking at gaming, Thomas started to set up a great introduction for how gaming can be applied and talking about behaviors and motivations and things of that nature. Taking all of that knowledge and applying it to the classroom, we were really interested at Kaplan about how we could use gamification, gaming techniques to really enhance the learning experience, to see if we can help students become more engaged with the material, and at the end of the day, with the learning improved, if we get better grades, were there fewer people who dropped out of the course, for instance, or had an unsuccessful grade, anything below a C. We were looking at the application of how can we use this to change the learning experience and really make it better. That's one aspect of gaming we were looking at. The second is really the badging aspect, and that is as we develop skills, as we learn things within our university degree program, how can we discreetly recognize those, test those, and then award a badge so that as someone who's trying to earn their degree, I may not have finished my degree yet, but throughout the program, I might develop a certain competency that can be identified, tested, and then rewarded so that as I'm trying to advance in my current career, as I'm seeking new job opportunities, I can show off these badges, show off these competencies, how they were earned, how they were tested. And so in advance of my degree, I can still make some change and improvement or show improvement in my life. So inside the classroom, we had a wonderful opportunity and a host of data to be able to go back and look at behaviors. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Jessica, who's been our lead for this project. Jessica, if you want to talk a little bit about the setup of gamification, how we leveraged historical data, professors, etc.
Perfect. So one of the reasons we sort of looked back and said, okay, how can we, as David mentioned, increase this engagement, motivation in the classroom? What can we do? We specifically looked at gamification because of the fact that it increases participation, it taps into people's self-driven and reward-based motivational needs. It's used to drive engagement, competition, create peer-to-peer interactions, and build a sense of community among the users. So these motivators and these types of interactions are exactly what Kaplan University strives to create in the classroom. So specifically, gamification was looked at because we wanted to use those gaming mechanics such as points, levels, achievements, strategy, teamwork, and competition in a way that made sense and was fun and engaging in the student classroom. So what we did was take a look further into what gamification does. And games specifically elicit the very same emotion and drivers that we want our students to display when taking part in course activities. Gamification helps to reinforce behaviors, build self-efficacy, and drive strategic thinking. What you see on your screen right now are portraits by a photographer named Philip Sodano. He set up cameras in front of gamers while they were playing in order to capture the emotion of gaming. As you can see, these images show excitement, surprise, and intense concentration. In the gaming world, and if there's any gamers currently out in our audience, you would recognize these classic emotions that are called an epic win. So game designer Jay McGonigal describes an epic win as an outcome that is so extraordinarily positive you have no idea it was even possible to attain until you actually achieved it. So when you look at these expressions and you look at the benefits of gamification, you really get to understand that this is what we at Kaplan University need to drive every day in our students. We need to give them more opportunities in the classroom to face and overcome exciting challenges, and then feel victorious and accomplished for their successes. So what we did, in order for us to decide how we would use a badgeable platform to build badges in the classroom, we developed the following strategy. As David mentioned, we looked a lot at our data that we had in our system. We broke up the badging into two distinct methods, those that are awarded automatically by the system based on specific tracked activity, and those that were awarded based on observed behaviors. So in developing the automated badges, we we looked at which behaviors were typical of AB range students and how their performance differed from our struggling students. The highest indicators of success that we found based on the data were the days attended, the time spent in class, and the interactions in our discussion boards were the highest indicators of success. We then took that data and created badges and missions based on the information gathered so that students were given specific goals that were in line with the behaviors of successful students. Now, when we looked at manual badges, we reached out to our instructors and asked them what behaviors they have observed in the class, which are typical of top-performing students. We then developed a system where instructors could assign badges to students who performed the desired behavior. The manual system we created gave us the flexibility of adding additional badges for behaviors that were not easily tracked or measured by normal classroom activities. So on this next slide, we have an example of what our student showcase looks like. So this is using the actual badgeable tools. And what we did was we created missions or objectives for the students to reach with badges as the reward in each level. Now these badges are broken up into 3 distinct parts that you see highlighted by the different color boxes. The first one is required badges, and those are those that we created and students are awarded for activities that are already expected in the class. So as a student, part of your course requirements are attending class, posting on the discussion board, coming to seminar. Those are the basic activities. So in order to try to motivate more of those behaviors, we created this section of required badges. So they were able to earn points every time they performed an activity, and then earn badges once they reached certain thresholds. So for example, students are awarded 2 points each time they post to the discussion board, but then receive a badge once they reach milestones. So the first post, 20th post, 40th post, and so on. Once the student has earned all the badges for that category, they've basically completed that mission. And like I mentioned earlier, those mission objectives are based on top student behavior. So trying to mimic those behaviors is how we created those missions. Now, the above and beyond badges are those that are awarded for the completion of assignment challenges. And I'll show you an example of that on the next slide. Students were asked to perform intermediate tasks or advanced level tasks on their unit assignments. This is optional, as a student will only be graded on the regular course requirements. But it gives them the opportunity to test, build, or show off their subject knowledge further beyond what is expected in the classroom. Now, once the student successfully completes the challenge, all they earn is badges and game points. They don't receive any extra points that go towards their actual course grade. And we were really excited that students really took hold of this and enjoy the process of actually doing these challenge levels. Now, on the right-hand side is the observed behaviors. And those are pretty much what I mentioned in the previous slide. They're the manual badges that the instructor gives to the students based on observation. Now, the nice thing about these manual badges is that it adds to that public recognition piece, which is really important in motivation. So the peer awards are for students who want to reward each other for great behaviors. For example, if a student posts a YouTube link on the discussion board that helped me understand the unit assignments better, I would award him or her with a site sharing badge. Additionally, instructors can reward students for those behaviors they want their students to perform. So for example, students who do not procrastinate and turn in their assignments within the first 3 days of the unit week are awarded an early bird badge. So as you can see at the bottom left of your screen, each time a student earns a badge, they're given a congratulatory message. The image on the bottom right shows that they are given clear and specific directions as to what is required to unlock the next badge in the sequence of the mission. This helps to keep the rules of the game easy to follow, helps them understand what is required, and keeps encouraging them to reach that next level. Okay, and now on this next slide, what you see on the top is an example of the challenge level addition to one of our course assignments. So the WIS challenge level is that intermediate, which builds upon what the student has learned in the unit, and the Rockstar challenge extends beyond the classroom and requires the student to complete a slightly more challenging task. Students are also required to complete the Whiz Challenge activity in order to gain the Rockstar badge. Now, on the bottom right below that bottom box, what you'll see is all the observed behaviors that are manually awarded in the classroom by the instructor. So there are quite a few behaviors that we monitor, that our instructors monitor and reward students for. Okay, and then once in the classroom, so this is actually the way that we've set up the badging tools in our classroom. Once you're in the classroom, students can click on a link on the lower left-hand corner that says My Badges, and then this screen will populate within the classroom. We use 3 primary badge-build widgets for our classes. The left-hand side is a leaderboard, where students can track their progress in relation to the peers and check out what badges that others have earned. Now again, this leaderboard is completely based on points related to the game. It has nothing to do with your grades in the class, so it's not a direct reflection and it's not showcasing what grades you have in the class. Now, the center section is the activity stream. It shows the recent badges earned by all students. And then the right-hand section is the student's personal showcase, where they can track exactly what they earned and what badges they still have to earn. Additionally, BadgeBuild's leveling feature was used. As a student earns more points, they improve their rank, basically, in the class, as is seen by the progression above the recent achievement. Okay, on to the next one. So from day one, these are some of our student comments. And from day one, we had just great feedback and positive feelings towards our newly introduced process. These are some student comments from the pilot launch that ended back in December. So not only do our students enjoy the gameplay aspect that has been added to the class, but they also notice the positive changes that have occurred. Even with their busy schedule, many students found time to participate a bit more in the course in order to earn badges. The instructors have also been very receptive to the innovation and are really enjoying participating in this unique and exciting experience in the class. And just like the students, they're also seeing a lot of positive changes. So thus far, integrating the BadgeBuild tools with our classroom has produced great results. As David mentioned, a lot of those factors that we were trying to see improve actually did. We've seen fantastic improvements in grades, number of days attended, amount of time spent in class, and the number of posts to discussion boards. We have even seen an increase in satisfaction of the course based on the end of the term surveys that are completed by the students. So additionally, the amount of students who withdrew or failed the course has decreased. Overall, everything we wanted to improve has gone up, and all the metrics we want to see decline have dropped. And we're really thrilled about the opportunities to expand and improve the platform to improve these outcomes even further. David, did you have anything to add on this slide?
Absolutely. One of the things that surprised me about our results, not only did students have higher grades and were they ranked higher in how we grade or reflect on their ability to have owned the material, but they were also doing it with harder assignments. At one point, over 85% of the students in the pilot course had selected the challenge levels, which were worth no more points, but were significantly harder than standard assignments. And yet their grades, on average, were anywhere from 10 to 15% higher than the students in the non-pilot courses who were taking the easier assignments or the traditional methods. So taking harder assignments, getting better grades, having better absorption of the material in terms of being ranked by the professors, it definitely was a win all the way around.
Absolutely, I agree. We had really great results, and we were really excited about continuing to expand. So, at Kaplan University as a whole, we strive to help students achieve their educational and career goals. And as we look ahead at the opportunities of higher education as a whole, we're working on ways to expand student knowledge beyond the classroom in a way that is practical to the workforce. We seek to use badging and gamification to create an experience that is customized to employer need and allows our students to show the skills and knowledge attained during their degree program to potential employers. We feel confident that our relationship with Badgeville will help bring us to that level. And David, did you have anything else to add on plans going forward?
Just that we have significant plans for badging in a lot of areas. I think there are questions on the board about average age. The average age of the students is in the mid-30s. But we really, as we looked at the response we received, didn't see age as a significant factor in terms of how they responded to this. Some people really bought into the individual competition. How can I build myself up on the leaderboard? Others really like the concept that if they were having trouble or wanted to reach out to one of their peers, they could use the leaderboard as a method to understand who they might contact or how they might ask questions. So it really built collaboration as well as competition within our classroom. And to a couple of the other questions, yes, education can be viewed by some as a game in and of itself, right? You have grades and assignments, and your ultimate reward is earning a degree. So as Jessica mentioned, one of the things we were careful not to do is use gamification as a means to replace or become more important than the established educational system, but rather augment and enhance it, really deepen the overall experience.
Yeah, perfect. I think that was well said. I think we thought we would have, like on the age question, we thought we would have a variance, but we saw that there were other drivers there that the gaming and badging really tapped into that allowed us to really widen the amount of students that were full in on the process. So that's all I have. Dave, if you have anything else, if you don't, then we can head back to Zach.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Thanks so much, everyone. That was really, really amazing content. Great results there. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Tom. Tom, are you back on the line?